Kia ora, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news. Inflation's pressures seem to be cooling in all the world's major economies. But first, the all-important American consumer inflation rate fell to 3% in June and lower than the expected 3.1%. Their core inflation rate fell too. Food costs rose just 2.2% and energy costs just 1%. Petrol prices actually fell 2.5%. Keeping it up were airfares up 9.4% and rent up 5.2%. Clearly, the conditions for a US Fed rate cut are getting closer. Financial markets, however, displayed mixed and muted reactions after the release. In Japan, machinery orders fell in May from April when a small rise was anticipated. Japan's core machinery orders, which exclude those for ships and electric power companies, fell 3.2% month on month. This also missed market expectations of a 0.8% gain. The decrease in capital spending was driven by a sharp decline in the non-manufacturing sector, although machinery orders from manufacturers rose 1% from April to be 10.8% higher than year-ago levels. Orders, including the big lumpy items, rose sharply, however. By the way, the very weak Japanese yen recovered somewhat, up 2% after the US June CPI data was released. Markets think the Bank of Japan intervened to generate the rally. Meanwhile, Germany said its CPI inflation rate fell to 2.2% in June. And Australian consumer inflation expectations barely edged lower to 4.3% in July from 4.4% in June. This is no progress. They seem stuck at over 4%, well above the RBA's target range. And global container freight rates may be reaching their peak. They rose just 1% last week from the prior week, staying in the stratosphere. But at least the impetus seems to have stopped. But when will they fall back to reasonable levels? Canal pressures are the key to that. Bulk cargo freight rates eased slightly last week. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.19% and down 9 basis points from yesterday. And the price of gold will start today up $41 from yesterday at $2,413 an ounce. The last and only time it was over $2,400 was in mid-May. The record high was $2,450 an ounce. And oil prices still just under $81.50 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is up 50 cents, just on $85 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar starts today little change from yesterday, still at 60.9 US cents. Against the Aussie, we're still at 90.2 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're marginally lower at 56.1 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today down 10 basis points at 69.8. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again on Monday.